So are you having a problem getting your party to roleplay? There are two types of parties. Those that roleplay, and then there's a third type, those that have no idea how to roleplay. In the end, if you're a dungeon master trying to encourage your party to roleplay, here's 5 little things that you can use that make a huge difference. At least they have for me. The first thing I do to help my party, or encourage my party, I should say, roleplay, is creating NPCs that I think are interesting or dynamic. Meaning, I create an NPC that has a motivation. And then when I'm playing that NPC, I just simply play them as that NPC. I have the motivations, them wear their motivations on a sleeve. And I talk to my players from that NPC. I don't necessarily do voices. I don't do funny characters. But what I do is I show my players that you can talk as you are. You don't have to have a voice. And I just start talking to them from the NPC standpoint. The blacksmith looks at you and crosses his arms. I've never given a discount a day in my life. I'm telling you right now that I've got a family to feed here, and I don't have a whole lot of people coming through. So why don't we just stick to the fair prices I have set? Now the players can take that information and we're like, well, he just told us that he doesn't have anyone coming through. So let's go ahead and try to see if we can get a discount because we're the only people here. Or the players may have a bonus sympathy for him. It will show you an insight into how your players think by putting that rawness in front of them. Allow your players to have more information than they may need. Don't have to hide things from them because not everyone is a master salesman or master negotiator. In fact, most of the people out there aren't. So keep that in mind when you're trying to roleplay. Give your players something to roleplay too when it comes to NPCs. Allow your NPCs to be unique, dynamic, wear their hearts on a sleeve, and then allow the players to interact with them that way. Another way to get your players, if you're trying to encourage your party, your group, your players, your characters to roleplay is create role-playing scenarios. When I think of the 3 pillars of Dungeons & Dragons, which I've done a full video on, there's combat, there's skill checks, and there's roleplay. I create scenes that are role-playing based scenes, and it's not just bartering with the unit, not just bartering with the dwarven blacksmith. It could be any amount of things. It could be going in actually convincing a noble that you need to help out the local farmers guild. That I'm not going to have some skill checks unless the players want to roll skill checks. I'm going to rely on the role playing and encourage the players to actually interact with them, show them that they need to go talk to this noble to convince them. That's what's being asked of them. If the players choose to roll their skill checks as opposed to role playing, then I'll allow them to roll those skill checks. This encourages people to start role-playing and figuring out what their character is trying to accomplish. So create role-playing scenarios and allow your players to interact with them. If you want to encourage role-playing in D&D or TTRPGs, you need to reward role-playing, meaning that if my rewards come from combat, if my rewards come from skill checks, but I get no reward for role-playing, why would I role-play? Regardless of what anyone says, as human beings, we do what we're rewarded for. So keep that in mind. Do what you're rewarded for, meaning reward them for role-playing. Give them advantages, give them boons, give them something when they engage in role-playing with those NPCs. And always be positive. If you give negative rewards for how someone role-plays because you didn't like the way they role-played, what are they going to do? They're going to do it less. Yes, I know sometimes you want to give their consequences negative because the players came through and did negative shit. But maybe the abrasiveness which they treat the king, they're rewarded with the knight that says, the king hasn't had anyone talk to them in like a decade. I can only appreciate that. Here's the thing though, if you're going to be successful, you may want to treat the king with a little bit more delicate gloves. What can I do to help you guys out and get settled into this town? They're rewarded by their harsh nature just because they didn't know how to do it. They can say, oh, we didn't mean to come off that. Maybe your player's not trying to do that way. You just role play with a bunch of natural assholes. That's also a thing. So remember, reward role playing even when your players are coming off in a way that you don't necessarily want them to or think they should be rewarded for. There's always a reward at the end of every tunnel. The question is, what is that reward? If you want your party to role play more, encourage backstory integration, meaning give your party bits and pieces of their backstory to integrate with. If all the backstories are these elusive, convoluted things, the players never interact with them. But that's why I like to keep a lot of my backstories for my party vague, to allow the party to say, hey, this looks like you could have someone that you may know here from your background. Who would that be? All of a sudden, now they're invested in the story and they want to role play or possibly part of the development of that story because now you're helping them craft part of your story. Anytime you give someone the ball, they want to play with it. Very few people look at a ball and toss it to the ground. You usually get at least a couple tosses back and forth. Your players are sitting down at your table because they want to tell a story with you. Give them a chance to tell that story. The vagueness that was found in the backgrounds allowed them a chance to role play that vagueness out, to solidify it. It's always fun to do. Food for thought. The final tip I can give you when it comes to actually helping your party role play is lead by example. Even though you may not do voices, even though you may not be a perfect role player, show your party it's okay. When I do my videos, I leave a lot of edits, a lot of errors in them. I don't spend the fine time-tuned crafting because that's not authentic, it's not real. Now the thing is, that has encouraged a lot of people to realize you don't have to be perfect to be a dungeon master. And I also allow the naysayers to hit me hard and be like, hey, to each their own, and allow that I keep coming back for more. I will never be a perfect content creator because I don't do this full time. This is done out of the, well, happiness in my heart just to make a difference. As a dungeon master, do the same thing. Lead by example. I make mistakes and I leave my mistakes in. Also shortens my editing time. And same for you. You don't have to have all the answers right now. Allow your players to experience that as well. So as a dungeon master, just show your players, show your character, show your party, show the people that you're role-playing with a fun way to role-play. And remember, this is all about fun at the table. If you want to encourage your party to role-play more, just remember, lead by example, reward role-playing behavior, have fun, put them in scenarios where role-playing makes sense, and in the end, have fun. And guys, thank you very much for supporting this channel. Like, subscribe, comment below, tell me what you want to hear. And as always, we'll see you when? We'll see you next time.